Behind the Del is a story of innovation. It's industrial buildings. These often overlooked structures were the backbone of the Del's creation, and they laid the foundation for the city of Coronado itself, shaping both the hotel and the vibrant community that grew around it. Built in 1887, the historic industrial buildings were essential to the construction and operations of both the Hotel del Coronado and the city of Coronado. Black and white photos captured so much detail from the hotel's construction site as hundreds of workers built the beautiful seaside Victorian hotel.
Originally, the power plant was the first building erected in 1887. And that remained in effect until 1922. It actually supplied all of the power to Coronado Island itself. So it was built to be robust. We also had a planing mill, we had an iron works, we had a brick kiln there on property. Everything had to be manufactured here on site.
This view shows the industrial buildings and original South Main entrance as they appeared in 2018, along with the ice house, storage areas, and other structures that were later removed.
Spaces became enclosed that originally were open air, and you have remnants of these old walls and this old green paint here, which is easily 80 to 100 years old.
Historic photos also reveal details of the original buildings, such as the hotel's stables, which were later converted into a garage, and support structures like the power plant, ice house, laundry, and carpentry shop, several of which served the hotel and community for over a century until 2018.
There was a pretty intensive master plan process in order to evaluate all the existing buildings and basically assess which ones were important to the history of the building and which ones were less so.
Our cameras captured key moments at the industrial buildings before their 2018 restoration. Lead architect David Marshall identified elements for preservation and others for removal. The exterior power plant shows years of decay and modifications, while the interior reflects non-historical changes. The power plant underwent a major restoration in 2020, ensuring its preservation, revitalizing its historic significance.
This was all a patchwork of buildings, and a lot of the windows that you see had been walled over, bricked in, or covered in concrete block. Pretty much all the windows you see here are recreated because the original ones were either missing or damaged beyond repair. You can see the windows that were restored, and this was a former lower window that was here before the ice house was built.
The utility tunnel connects the power plant to the hotel, in the early years transporting steam, electricity, and other utilities. Once off limits to the public, the tunnel is now open as part of the hotel's historical tours.
It was intended to be big enough for people to walk through. So people could service it and update it, but some of these pipes date back to when the hotel was brand new.
Right beside the tunnel, crews unexpectedly uncovered remnants of the original power plant building.
Well, this is one of the original features that we wanted to protect as part of the project, and it's an old fire door. It's, you can see, it's an overhead supported fire door. There were several of these throughout the building, and it's got great character and charm to it. And there was no reason to remove it. It's a historic feature of the buildings.
The power plant supplied energy to the hotel in Coronado until 1922. The nearby smokestack was also built in 1888, and it provided electricity to the hotel, Coronado residents, and businesses. The hotel would switch to the city's electrical grid in 1956.
Well, we are at the back, or the east side of the powerhouse, in the boiler room area as well. And you can see all the original red clay bricks. Now they fired all these bricks on site. This is where there were voids in the brick and the mortar was deteriorating. So this has all been restored. This is a new opening to provide access. The building is still very much used and is necessary for the operations of the hotel. But it does show, a lot of the restored work here.
Built in 1889, the ice house produced up to 15 tons of ice daily for the hotel and Coronado. After upgrades, it has been fully restored, preserving historic features and reusing reclaimed items.
That's one of the most exciting aspects of the master plan to me, is the restoration of the ice house. It was built in 1889. It was added onto the power plant, and it was built to accommodate a new 10-ton ice machine.
Following upgrades, the Ice House has been carefully restored, preserving its historic features and incorporating reclaimed materials. Now serving as the hotel's museum, it celebrates the Del's rich legacy. Built in 1919 from red brick, the laundry buildings serve hotel guests, Coronado residents, and businesses, with 5 trucks and a branch on Orange Avenue. Only one original truck survived. Over time, wear and tear led to significant modifications, though some equipment remained intact, offering a glimpse into its past operations up to 2018. The building was restored by removing exterior white paint, refurbishing the brick, and adding seismic retrofitting, all while preserving key historical details.
They meticulously used brushes and removed the paint. It was one brick at a time. And so it was a long, tedious process, but a wonderful result and preservation of the brick.
Due to extensive damage, most of the original transom windows were recreated. Original windows that could be saved were carefully restored. The skylights, typical of industrial architecture of the era, were also restored.
All the beautiful exposed structure, the wood trusses, the skylights or clear stories to bring in all that daylight, and then the old conveying system for the laundry equipment is in the back corner there, all that red metal. That's all original.
The original machinery has been carefully restored and preserved, remaining a key part of the building. The adjacent machine, carpentry, and paint shop buildings built around 1910 served the hotel's needs until 2018.
You're looking at the back side of the siding. There's no interior finish at all, and then we have these big oversized trusses which are supporting the roof. We have the original windows, which we call these 4/4 double hung windows. And one of the things I really like about this is it shows the original, what we call swirled glass. Right. It's an obscure glass that allows light in but not views.
Despite their long history, the buildings lack significant historic value and were removed. At the south end of the property stands the historic Oxford Building, Coronado's first hotel, built in July 1887 at the same time as the Del. It once housed the hotel's construction workers, and in later years it was almost demolished before being saved and moved multiple times. Acquired by the Del in 1983, the Oxford was restored as part of the amended master plan.
The exterior is being restored. We're bringing back the original colors. And then we're also reworking the interior to make it a little more efficient. It will still be used as offices, but it's very much a historic hotel, just like the main Del building is.
Following the restoration of the industrial buildings and reimagining of the original South Main entrance, guests can now experience Hotel del Coronado as visitors did in 1888. Its preserved architecture and rich history ensure the Del's legacy endures for future generations.